Dean Biasucci set to tee it up to kick off to start the game as the Colts coach Ted Marchibroda returns to Buffalo, where he was an assistant coach, the offensive coordinator who devised the Bills' no-huddle offense. Marchibroda, of course, has his own no-huddle these days with the Colts, although he told us before the game he didn't know how much he would use it in today's contest. So Biasucci and the Colts to kick off to get the game underway with Don Beebe and Russell Copeland deep for the Bills. The Colts with a record of 2-4. Last place in the East. The Bills 4-2 and atop the Eastern Division standings after that big emotional win over the Dolphins a week ago. And the Bills hoping to avoid an emotional letdown in this game against Indianapolis today. They have won 8 of the last 9 against the Colts. And Biasucci with the kickoff. Beebe from the 1. Don Beebe buried back at the 15-yard line, and the ball came free. Let's see.
Don Beebe returned the kickoff.
Apparently the Bills recovered. So Beebe had the football jarred loose as he was hit on returning the kickoff, and Mike Dumas recovered it for Buffalo. Brian Radigan, the man that put the hit on him.
Boy, that could have been a huge start for the Indianapolis Colts. Unfortunately, I don't think the Colts realized the ball was on the ground.
So Jim Kelly will get his offense in gear deep in his own territory. 14-yard line. Fakes one way, gives it to Gardner on the other side with a screen pass. And Gardner with a gain of about 13 yards and a Bills first down. It's officially 13. Jeff Parrott finally making the tackle with help from Ray Buchanan. Let's take a look at the Bills starting lineup. This is their huddle offense. John Fina gets the start at left tackle, coming back from a knee injury a week earlier than expected. And when they huddle up, this is the way they'll be in the backfield. Kelly, by the way, 26 touchdown passes against the Colts, more than any other team. Thurman Thomas looking for his 5th straight 100-yard rush. Game, and in the no huddle, they go to 3 wide receivers. That's the offense we have seen over the last few years. It's the huddle offense that is new. Thurman Thomas with a carry. Damon Watts, the rookie corner, with a stop for the Colts. Defensively, Indianapolis, sort of a makeshift line up front, but Tony Bennett coming over as a free agent from the Packers has been sensational. Grant gets a start. He's been playing well. Harbaugh and Coriat, 2 top tacklers on the Colts defense. There's their secondary, including the rookie Watts, who's getting better with each game. And in passing situations, they'll go to their nickel and get an extra defensive back, Ashley Ambrose, into the game. Thomas on the pitch, stopped short of the 35-yard line as the pursuit of the Colts catches up on that sweep play to set up a 3rd down.
And Tom, the one thing you have to wonder about the Buffalo Bills is, can they get themselves back to the same emotional level that they enjoyed a week ago against the Miami Dolphins against the Colts? In talking with Marv Levy about that very subject, he said, let me tell you, he said, no NFL team can ever get themselves that jacked up week after week. We just simply have to be professional about it and come back and play hard today against the Colts.
Most of the attention this week was on the song that Levy composed and sang after they beat the Dolphins. 3rd down pass, Kelly on target. It'll be a Bills first down as Bill Brooks, the former Colts, made the catch right in front of Eugene Daniel. First down, Buffalo.
Jim Kelly really got away with one here. The ball sailed on him, and Bill Brooks was able to make the adjustment. If the defensive back had seen the ball early enough, probably could have made the play. That's Eugene Daniel just simply breaking it up.
Kelly again downfield. Thurman Thomas with a catch all the way to the Colts 25, where he's tackled by Ray Buchanan. So they go from the huddle offense to start the game to the no huddle here. 28 yards to Thomas, and the Bills are threatening. Trying to confuse the opposition, going from huddle to no huddle. Getting the personnel they want on the field without giving the defense time to adjust. Kelly, quick toss, complete again. Andre Reed to the 12-yard line.
Boy, when this offense gets going, it is something to behold. Jim Kelly is desperately wanting to get the passing game going. They got the running game going last week against the Miami Dolphins, but this is a team that has struggled. Jim Kelly has put up poorer numbers this year than he has at almost any time during his career, but at least thus far against the Colts, he's been right on the money.
Biting off huge chunks on this first drive of the game, the last one for 13. Kenneth Davis in the game, gets the delayed handoff, cuts back, it's a 5, touchdown. There is a penalty marker down. Referee Tom White.
5-yard face mask on the defense. Penalty is declined. Touchdown.
13-yard scamper by Kenneth Davis will stand.
How easy did the Buffalo Bills make this drive look? And how would you like to have a backup running back like Kenneth Davis? As a defense, you're watching Thurman Thomas and you're trying to adjust to him, and then all of a sudden in comes an even faster player in Kenneth Davis.
His second touchdown of the season. Christie to add the extra point. And it's good. Well, no sign of an emotional letdown as the Bills march right down the field to take an early 7-0 lead on Indianapolis. One of the easiest drives I've seen all season. Buffalo marches down to take a 7-0 lead. And in so doing, Jim Kelly passed for 66 yards on the drive, making him now the all-time Bills leading passing quarterback. Joe Ferguson and Jack Kemp, you see before Kelly, who now has 27,610 yards and 184 touchdowns. Jim Kelly, the Bills' all-time leading passer. Christie to kick to Humphrey and Brewer. Humphrey straight up the middle. Pretty good return. He's across the 30 to the 33-yard line. Tackle made by Mark Pike. Scrambling for the football. I didn't see it come free, but it may have. In any event, looks like the Colts have it. Well, in a practice before the Dolphins game last week, the Bills coach Marv Levy promised to write a fight song if the Bills won, and after the victory, he did more than that.
Welcome back to the Marv Levy Show. Now, we promised you something special. You're going to hear the new song written by Marv Levy. Marv, take it away.
Here we go, folks. Go Bills, for we are here to cheer for you. Go Bills, we are your fans so true. With victory in sight, we'll yell with all our might. Go, go, Bills fight, Bills go. Come on, let's win for Buffalo.
Well, I want to hear Paul McGuire sing. Win or I'll sing again. That's the threat. And it must have worked because the Bills looked great on that first touchdown drive. Colts come right back with Jim Harbaugh on first down, passing to Sean Dawkins for 13 yards. Maddox on the tackle. And the Colts to the air on first down to move the ball across their own 40. It's been the rage of the sports shows all week. Marshall Faulk's first carry gets him only a couple of yards. Here are the starting lineups for the Colts. Will Wolford, the former Buffalo Bill, has the task of trying to handle Bruce Smith today. And Jim Harbaugh hitting 62% of his passes, just not much yardage. Marshall Faulk leading rusher and receiver. Passing situations, they'll get Mark Jackson looking for his first reception as a Colt. In as the third wideout. Marshall Faulk burrows his way to the 45-yard line, another couple of yards. Bruce Smith got a piece of the tackle.
And the biggest thing that the Bills are worried about with Marshall Faulk is the cutback. They said that when you have this guy, you have to force him to the outside.
See that outstanding front seven of the Bills, led by Bruce Smith, top AFC sacker. There's the secondary, and in passing situations, they'll put in two extra defensive backs. Their dime, Burris and Schultz. Cornelius Bennett becomes a down lineman in their dime defense. Harbaugh chased from the pocket, got rid of it. The pass made for a Colt first down to Mark Jackson, and Jackson coming over, making his first reception as a Colt for 11 yards and a first down.
The big question in this game is, would Jim Harbaugh have enough time to throw the football? This pattern was not open early. Had to wait for Jackson to clear. Nice movement there by Harbaugh in the pocket, but the offensive lineman picked up that first down.
And as we talked to Harbaugh yesterday, he seemed confident that they would give him the time against Bruce Smith and company. Sort of surprised us, but he expected just what he got on that one. So Jackson, the former Denver Bronco and New York Giant, makes the first down catch. Marshall Faulk looks for a block, cuts back, and gets only a yard or so. The Bills stringing it out, forcing him wide, and true to their game plan, hold Faulk in check.
Walt Corey telling us yesterday that he was going to try to get some penetration up the field and constantly force Marshall Faulk outside. You see him try to make the cut back there, but they feel that if they can just stretch him out to the boundary or just make him bounce one hole wider, that this team has the speed on the defensive side to catch up.
Henry Jones, Mark Maddox stringing it out to make the play that time. Couple of blocks. Roosevelt Potts inside the 30 of the Bills. The Colts have another first down. Maddox and Patton stopping him after a gain of 13. Roosevelt Potts, who is the 4th leading receiver on the team with his 14th catch of the season.
And how about the Colts coming right back and answering the Buffalo Bills drive? Roosevelt Potts a couple of weeks ago had such a big game catching the football, and it looks like Jim Harbaugh is now beginning to rely on him in some key situations.
So Walt Corey, the defensive coordinator of the Bills, has seen a much more diversified Colts attack on their first possession of the football. Faulk cuts it back close to the 25-yard line. His best run of the day, nearly 5 yards. Maddox and Patton in the center of the Bills defense finally get him down.
4-yard gain, 2nd and 6.
Bruce Smith said that Marshall Faulk reminds him of a young Thurman Thomas, only better as a rookie even than what Thurman was. Tremendous respect around the league for Marshall Faulk.
Ted Marchibroda said of all the players he's seen in his many years in the league, that he went from a standing start to full speed quicker than anyone he's ever noticed. Ronald Humphrey replacing Faulk in the backfield here. Quick drop by Harbaugh, fires it incomplete off the hands of his intended receiver, the tight end Kerry Cash. Henry Jones hit him hard.
One of the problems with throwing the ball above the waist is you can't use your body as protection. That time Henry Jones making exactly the right play, not going for the big hit, just simply hitting his hand against the arm of the receiver and knocking the ball free.
That's the first miscue by Harbaugh on this opening drive of the Colts. They trail 7-0. Still in the first quarter, 6:40 to play. Jackson is the 3rd wide receiver in this formation. Pressure on Harbaugh made him unload quickly, and the pass incomplete. Kurt Schultz on a safety blitz. The pass intended for Floyd Turner, but when Washington and Schultz coming, Harbaugh never had a chance.
And the one thing that I really question about this Colts offense is, do they have guys capable of making big plays other than Marshall Faulk? When you get into a blitz situation, someone has to come free quickly. That time, the Colts receivers, unable to get away from the bump and run man-to-man coverage, forced the field goal.
Dean Biasucci, as you see, has hit 5 of 7. This one will be a 43-yard attempt from the hold by Stark. On its way and good. So the Bills get 7 points on their first possession. Marchibroda and the Colts answer with 3. 6.5 left in the opening period. Not far from Niagara Falls, Orchard Park, New York, where the Bills lead the Colts 7-3. You know, a couple of statements this season have made you sort of feel like going over the falls in a barrel, haven't they?
I've been over, gotten up, stepped back in the barrel, went over again. Thank you very much for bringing back all my pleasant memories, too.
Well, the Colts only got a field goal, but a fairly impressive drive of 9 plays, 47 yards. And they'll kick to the Bills once again, trailing 7-3. Biasucci has it teed up. Don Beebe from the 6. Hit and driven back again.
Return to kickoff.
He's taking punishment on those kick returns.
17-yard
Didn't fumble the football this time.
10 from the 23.
So with the Bills leading the Colts 7-3, clock shows 6:23 left in the first. We'll be back. Welcome back to Buffalo, where the Bills lead the Colts 7-3. 76-yard drive, first possession by the Bills.
Well, what a difference in last week's game using that huddle offense.
That's what they have on the field at the moment. Kelly rifles it complete to Andre Reed at the 40-yard line. He beat Damon Watts, the rookie. Andre Reed has 13 touchdown passes against the Colts, touchdown receptions, the most against any team.
Damon Watts, who made the game-saving play against Seattle a couple of weeks ago off the back of his helmet, showing plenty of respect for the great Andre Reed. And Jim Kelly has to be thrilled to have his offensive line back intact for the first time since the opening day. He said that some of the patterns are open. We just haven't had time to get it down the field.
Harwell Gardner, the fullback, gets a carry. Tony McCoy with the stop for Indianapolis. As you see some of the other scores, Barry Foster in the Pittsburgh-Cincinnati game has sprained his knee and is out for the contest.
Talked a little bit about the offensive line, but the return of John Fina allowed the entire offensive line of the Bills to reshuffle. Now Jerry Krafts goes back to alternating with Lucina at left guard, and things just seem to be better settled in.
Kelly under pressure, almost intercepted. Harrod short-hopped it. He's trying to claim that he made the catch. It did the short hop intended for Thurman Thomas, and Harrod nearly picked it off.
Well, first of all, if I were a referee, I wouldn't believe that Jeff Harrod could make an interception anyway. He's got about 10 crooked fingers out there. Good pressure on Jim Kelly, almost set up the pick. Harrod trying to scoop underneath.
Well, from our angle, it looked like it did hit the ground first. There are those gnarled fingers from Jeff Harrod. He had a keyboard. He bought himself a keyboard. He can't play it anymore. He doesn't hit the right notes. Those fingers go in different directions. Kelly threaded the needle to Reed. Got away from the first man, then is taken down after another Buffalo first down. Ray Buchanan made the tackle. 15 yards on that one, and Kelly is now 6 of 7 to start the game.
I absolutely love to watch Andre Reed play football. Here is a guy, doesn't have the greatest speed in the world, but he goes over the middle, takes his licks, makes the catch. A very courageous receiver.
3 catches, 45 yards in this game. From the no huddle, Thurman Thomas is thrown back for a loss on the play, knocked back to the 45-yard line by Tony Siragusa.
I don't think that run's going to make the highlight reel. Like a pinball coming out of there.
There's big Siragusa.
Of course, when you hit somebody that size, with good reason.
It'll be 2nd and 12 coming up for the Colts. Siragusa out, replaced by Steve Entman, who comes in the nickel defense for the Colts. Entman, of course, coming back from 2 severe knee injuries, the former top player in the draft. Russell Copeland has replaced Andre Reed. Draw play to Thomas. Thurman Thomas picking his way, got only a yard or 2 as the Colts were ready for that. Tony McCoy again in on the play with help from Damon Watts.
Looked like Thurman Thomas may have hit the wrong hole on that draw play. John Fina, the left tackle, set up for an inside position, number 70, hoping that Thurman would run inside, but then the hole collapsed backwards and Thurman had to try and bounce it outside. He didn't have any help.
Thomas has carried 4 times for only 6 yards so far. Huddle offense for the Bills this time. They've been mixing it up. That first touchdown drive, they went to the huddle 4 times, the no huddle 3 times. So they are doing a good job of deception. Good protection for Kelly on 3rd down, and he's going deep. Reed got his feet tangled with the defender, who was Jason Belser. Is ripped off his helmet looking for the flag, but got no call.
There's going to be some contact on down the field. That's an illegal chuck. The feet getting tangled up, though, is not a penalty, but there should have been an illegal chuck called on the play.
Illegal contact beyond 5 yards should have been called, although, as you said, the feet tangling up was incidental. Brewer calls for a fair catch of the punt by Moore and then lets it hit. The Bills are ready for it. They're going to stop it from going into the end zone and will down it at about the 1 or 2 yard line. Great coverage of Moore's punt by the Bills special teams. Kurt Schultz, the man to down it after a 41-yarder. Buffalo leading Indianapolis 7-3, and the Colts will take over deep. Just under 3 minutes left in the first quarter. 7-3 Buffalo. Colts take over at their own 2. Marshall Faulk, the AFC's leading rusher, averaging 4.5 yards a carry, has been held to only 2 yards a carry today. 4 carries, 8 yards on the Colts' first drive. Cut back by Marshall Faulk, and he gets it out of the shadow of his own goal line, close to the 10-yard line. Maddox and Darby finally tracked him down, but there you see the cutting ability, the quick cut by Marshall Faulk.
And that's exactly what Walt Corey, the defensive coordinator of the Bills, was so concerned about. He said, as long as we keep him in front and force him outside, we can catch up with him. But when he has the ability to cut behind our defense, this is a guy that can take it the entire length of the football field.
2nd and 3. Again, Marshall Faulk. He's across the 10 to the 12 or 13, where Bruce Smith.
It was Bruce Smith who made the tackle.
Hangs on for the stop. It'll be close to a first down. Let's see the mark of the football. So close, they'll call timeout to measure.
Yeah, Tom, I thought Cornelius Bennett really hit it right on the head when he was talking about Marshall Faulk, though. And he said, this guy can't beat us by himself. They're going to have to do some other things, throw the football, get their wide receivers involved. And Cornelius also said, they do pick up the first down, that this is a Colt football team that is having trouble finding that other dimension. They have respect for Jim Harbaugh, especially his ability to run the football. They're just not so sure that they can beat him with the other phases of the game.
Harbaugh, in his 7 years in Chicago, played against the Bills once as a Chicago Bear. They lost the game, and he says, a really good defense, but not an overpowering one. We'll see. Marshall Faulk, there's the cutback again. It got him to about the 15-yard line. Or excuse me, to about the mark.
Maddox and Darby on the stop.
Maddox and Darby, tacklers for the Bills.
Perpetual motion out of Marshall Faulk reminds you a little of Barry Sanders, especially his ability to stop and start and get running full speed again. So he just sort of glides along. And the key to a great running back, though, is to always keep your feet close to the ground. You don't want to be jumping and taking big, huge strides. The ability to make those quick, short steps.
Harbaugh's pass is complete to Potts. Ducks one man and will be up close to first down yardage. Marshall Potts becoming a valuable receiver for the Colts out of the backfield. Washington and Patton make the tackle.
Potts led the Colts in rushing last year. He was 4th among all NFL rookies, and you have to believe that Roosevelt Potts is a little disappointed.
Number 79.
Is a little disappointed in his role in this offense.
79 is not reporting. First down.
The referees trying to explain about who's eligible and who's not. But here's a guy that really had a dynamic year a year ago and is now turned into just a role player behind Marshall Faulk.
15 seconds left and counting in the first quarter. First down, Indianapolis. Sweep, Faulk. Beautiful tackle in the backfield by Darryl Talley. Talley looked to be beaten on the play. There's a flag down. Talley made some play, grabbing Marshall by the back of the neck, it looks like.
Not so sure I'd want to shake hands with Darryl Talley if he can use one hook to pull down a running back like Marshall Faulk.
Bills, Bruce Smith indicating it's against Indianapolis. Let's see if Tom White agrees.
Holding. Number 73 offense. 10 yards. Still first down.
DeFrost Moss called for the hold.
There's no question that Darryl Talley is not the player he was a couple of years ago. He's lost some of his speed, but his instincts so good. Just reaching out and grabbing it, not only the jersey, but able to hook the back of the shoulder pads that gave him the leverage to make the play.
That's the end of the first quarter from Rich Stadium in Buffalo, where the Bills lead the Indianapolis Colts 7-3. Start the second quarter with the Bills up 7-3 on the Colts. First and 20 from their own 13 for Indianapolis after the holding call. Harbaugh hit as he released, completes the pass to the 20-yard line. Dawkins, Sean Dawkins, the wide receiver, making the catch and hit immediately by Cornelius Bennett.
Pretty interesting play that time by the Indianapolis Colts. They run the screen out to the left-hand side, but it's a read screen so that they drew the linebackers and drew some of the defense out wide. That opened up the tight end over the middle of the field.
Jeff Wright was bearing down on Harbaugh, but he managed to complete the pass, and it's second down and 13. Draw play to Potts, Roosevelt Potts. That's only a yard or two. Patton and Bennett stopping Potts. Buffalo not fooled with a draw.
Third and 11.
And Walt Corey, the defensive coordinator, telling us yesterday that the burden on this game really on our inside linebackers. Marcus Patton and Mark Maddox. They're not the best players on this team. The strength of this team, of course, on the outside with Talley and Smith and Cornelius Bennett. But obviously against the Colts and the great running back Marshall Faulk, you have to be able to stop that run right up the gut.
Three wides for the Colts. Dawkins, Turner, and Jackson facing the dime defense of Buffalo. Harbaugh steps up, completes a short pass to Marshall Faulk. Faulk to the outside, dragged down after picking up a first down, I believe, to the 35-yard line. Jeff Burris, the rookie from Notre Dame, catching up with Faulk, but not until he had ripped off 13 yards with a crucial pass reception for a Colt first down.
How much fun is Marshall Faulk to watch? Look at this. He's just going to come out, a 3-yard pass, boop. Jim Harbaugh says, go, baby, go on with it now. Pick up a first down, a couple of moves. What a dynamic player.
As we've said, not only the leading rusher in all of the AFC, but the Colts leading receiver. Harbaugh going deep down the field. He has it to Dawkins. Wrestled down at the 40-yard line by Mickey Washington.
They are not letting Bruce Smith get anywhere close to Jim Harbaugh, and at least thus far, that has been the key to this game, working against his old pal Will Wolford, but you can see there's plenty of help. Brandy Dixon coming over to help on him. And look at the time and look at the distance between Harbaugh and his offensive line. Plenty of room to step up. Nice catch there by Sean Dawkins, who is one of those up and down kind of players.
Yeah, the much maligned Sean Dawkins took that one for 24 yards. Colts in business in Buffalo territory. Faulk cut back to the 34-yard line, tripped up by Cornelius Bennett. And again, the Marshall Faulk quick cutback.
And the linebackers are overrunning these plays. Maddox and Patton are trying to beat Marshall Faulk to the corner. You see the two inside linebackers. When Faulk starts to his left, they take off and start flying that way. Well, that's not where he's dangerous. You have help out there. You have to maintain your leverage.
That one in for 8. It's 2nd and 2. Marshall again. Not much that time. They hit him hard and prevented, I think, the first down. Bruce Smith and Marcus Patton converging on Marshall Faulk.
And Jim Harbaugh playing a very solid game so far in this one. Ted Marchibroda telling us that, you know, he's not Dan Marino. He's not Jim Kelly. He's a guy that's just consistent. He's not going to make the big mistake. And so far, Jim Harbaugh doing a job here.
Might not be brilliant, but he won't get you beat, I think is the prevailing wisdom.
But they have to keep working that ball down the field. Every time they complete a pass down the field, it opens it up for Marshall Faulk.
Here's 3rd and 1 on the 11th play of the drive. Faulk hit at the line of scrimmage. He falls forward. Bruce Smith and Oliver Barnett met him soon after he got the football. And let's see if he fell forward for enough yardage. He only needed a yard for the first down.
4th and 2.
It'll be 4th down for Indianapolis. Decision time for Ted Marchibroda.
Bruce Smith really doing a good job working down the line. Great strength. I like the decision here by Marchibroda.
He's going to go for it on 4th and 1. Got 1.5, really. Pitch to Falk. Potts with a block on the corner. Marshall has the first down, twisting and turning to the 21-yard line.
Tom, you remember the Seattle game a couple of weeks ago? They had 4th down and 1.5 yards on their own goal line. They called that same exact play and scored the touchdown. Apparently, this is the sure thing for Ted Marchibroda. If his team gets in trouble, 4th and short, he's going to the toss sweep, and why not when you have a guy like that?
9 yards for Falk on that sweep. First down, Indianapolis. Ball spotted at the 23-yard line of the Buffalo Bills. The Colts driving, trailing 7-3 here in the second quarter. Long drive. They've overcome a holding penalty so far. Humphrey. Play strung out to the outside by Darby and Washington. Let's go to New York now, where Greg Gumbel is standing by for an NFL Live update. Greg, what do you have?
Well, Tom, in Miami, you know how they say turnovers will kill you, especially this kind. Mark Higgs hit by Terry McDaniel, fumbles. Anthony Smith is there to scoop it up and go 24 yards. The Raiders add the extra point. They also had a field goal and lead 10-0 over Miami in the second quarter, Tom.
All right, Greg, good news for Buffalo Bill fans, and the Raiders doing it with a little defense that time. Fumble recovery for a touchdown. Harbaugh on the look-in pass has it complete to the 10-yard line. Quick strike to Turner with Thomas Smith hitting him immediately, but Harbaugh has looked sharp here in the first half.
And, Tom, that may well have been an audible at the line of scrimmage. Anytime the Buffalo Bills defensive backs play off their wide receivers, they want an audible to the quick slant. That time Jim Harbaugh made the nice read and completed the pass. Ball just inside the 10-yard line. They started this drive at their own 2, their first and goal just inside the 10. Not much there for Humphrey as he tries the center of the line. Marshall Faulk still on the sideline.
1-yard gain.
Perry with a tackle for Buffalo, and one thing Indianapolis has been able to do this season is be very productive in the red zone.
Those are simply outstanding numbers. The only problem the Colts have had are the number of attempts.
Just haven't gotten there often.
Right.
Second and goal from the 9-yard line. Faulk still on the Colt bench. Humphrey and Potts in the backfield. Split backs. Harbaugh to the air. Pass is complete in the flat to Humphrey. He's ridden out of bounds at about the 6 by Matt Darby.
Matt Darby running out of bounds.
Marshall Faulk appears to be strolling toward the huddle.
Well, what a difference in this offense when he's lined up in the backfield. You can just tell the amount of respect that the Buffalo Bills are paying him, and when he's not in there, it allows this Bills defense to distribute themselves a little more equally.
It's third and goal from the Buffalo 6. Play action pass. Harbaugh with plenty of time for the end zone. Touchdown. Turner with the touchdown grab from Jim Harbaugh on third down. Beautiful play by the Colts, who marched from their own 2 for the go-ahead score.
I absolutely love the play that time by Jim Harbaugh. He's going to direct Floyd Turner with his eyes. He didn't like this initial hole, so he looked out wider, and Floyd Turner then knew to take off across the back of the defensive back for the easy touchdown. Great play set up by Jim Harbaugh.
Turner beating Henry Jones for his 3rd touchdown reception of the season. And Dean Biasucci will try to add the extra point. Colts rocked back early by a 76-yard touchdown drive of the Bills off the opening kickoff. Have come back to score If this extra point is good, 10 in a row. And it is. Jim Harbaugh, the traffic cop, directing with his eyes Floyd Turner for the score.
Just as he looks off to the right-hand side, Floyd Turner knew he was supposed to continue on into the next hole. Nice job there by a veteran quarterback.
There was a flag down on the extra point attempt, apparently against the Bills.
Offside. Number 25.
Offside Buffalo will be declined. 10-7 Indianapolis.
Going to kick off. Extra point is good. Timeout.
Jim Harbaugh, the Colts, has had an excellent first half. That last scoring drive, a thing of beauty. The longest this season by the Colts, 98 yards, 17 plays, nearly 10 and a half minutes. That is nearly perfection.
I cannot remember the last time I saw a 17-play drive.
Offside penalty against the Bills on the extra point, assessed on the kickoff. So Biasucci will kick off from the 35-yard line. Sends it deep into the end zone and out of sync. So Biasucci given an extra 5 yards, boots it for the touchback, and the Bills will take over at their own 20, trailing 10-7 when we return to Buffalo.
Fans, here's your chance to win a small dish.
Downtown Buffalo, New York, where the Bills trail the Colts. First down pass, Jim Kelly, complete to Andre Reed. It's good for about 7 or 8 yards as the Bills come out in their K-gun, no huddle offense with 3 wide receivers, B.B. Copeland and Reed.
And it's really no surprise that they're working against the rookie Damon Watts. We saw Rick Meyer of Seattle do it a couple of weeks ago. Almost every pass he threw directed that way. And now Jim Kelly employing the same strategy.
Reed 4 catches, 52 yards. They go to the huddle this time and hand to Thurman Thomas. He's hit behind the line and drops for only a gain of a yard. Good defense by the Colts, led by Damon Watts, the rookie corner.
Really have to love that young man's personality. I mean, he is absolutely so full of life. He's had a little trouble in the past. He was suspended by Bill Mallory for a while at Indiana. And we talked to him about it. He said, you know, he threatened me. He told me he was going to do it. And I didn't believe he was going to do it. But you know what? He did it. So it sort of stained his reputation a little, but he sure enjoys playing football right now.
Forced him to grow up. And Thurman Thomas on a 3rd and a yard carry will get the first down.
And Tom, it really doesn't look like the Bills are into this game emotionally. So sky high a week ago against the Miami Dolphins. They came out and scored an easy touchdown in this one, a 7-0 lead. Maybe just relax just a bit, thinking that, well, this is the Colts after all, and they don't have a winning record, and we have pretty good success.
Maybe that opening touchdown was so easy it worked against them?
It could actually work against you in the game.
Thurman Thomas gets it done. Freddie Joe Nunn with a Colts defensive play.
And the other thing is the crowd. Last week against Miami, this place was rocking and rolling, and they're singing and screaming and jumping up and down.
Even Marv Levy was singing.
Yeah, and now they're just sort of sitting there like they're watching a movie.
Well, it has a bad ending so far for the Bills. They trail 10-7 with 5:10 remaining first half. Kenneth Davis has replaced Thurman Thomas. Kelly behind Gardner, the intended receiver. Kelly missed that one, and he knows it, as Tony Bennett was applying the pressure from a defensive end spot.
I think Tony Bennett is the best free agent pickup in the National Football League. This guy is an absolute stud. Kenneth Davis, I promise you, will not block him all day.
Bennett from Alligator, Mississippi, about 350 people, and he grew up chasing snakes, he said, hunting birds with a bow and arrow. I don't know how you do that, but he is from the wilds of Mississippi, and he has put a charge in this Colt defense. Colts come with a blitz that time, and Harbaugh might have been into the neutral zone.
You know, the funniest part about that whole story, though, we asked him about Alligator, Mississippi. He said, well, a lot of alligators down there seems like an obvious question. He said, nope, I never saw them.
Ball start. Number 68 offense. 5 yards. Go 3rd down.
Wow, big break for the Colts as Corbin Lucina was called for the false start.
The Colts do flinch, but the man over Corbin Lucina did not jump. In other words, if the man over Lucina had jumped first and Lucina reacted off of that, it would have been a penalty on the defense. But because it was the people outside of him, the penalty's on the offense.
So 3rd and long for Kelly, who's hit 7 of 10 so far. Down the sideline, Beebe has it. First down, Buffalo at the 45-yard line. Eugene Daniel gave him so much of a cushion that Beebe just broke it off and had the easy first down catch, 16 yards.
Great play there by a veteran receiver in Don Beebe. He waited until Eugene Daniel turned his eyes back to Jim Kelly. At that moment, he stopped on the sideline, came back down the sideline for an easy completion.
Here's the no-huddle offense. Kelly complete. Metzelar's the tight end, covered by the linebacker Quentin Coriat for a gain of 5 or 6 yards.
This is, in my opinion, the best use of the no-huddle offense. When you hit him with it quickly, it's a bit of a shock to the defensive system, allows you to gain some momentum.
Davis got a yard. Steve Edmond and Tony McCoy made the play for the Colts. Now they'll go back into their huddle offense. Change of pace by the Bills through this first half.
And the one thing that the K-gun used to allow the Buffalo Bills was the fact that the defenses against it had to be so simple. They couldn't be too complicated because you didn't have time to make a lot of calls. But now defenses have begun to figure out how to make those calls on the field the same way the offense does.
Kelly swings it to Gardner. Carwell Gardner lowers his head and pounds for another Buffalo first down. Nudged out of bounds at the 37 by Eugene Daniel.
And the guy that enjoys having Carwell Gardner in the backfield more than anybody else is Thurman Thomas. He said what a joy that game was last week against the Miami Dolphins. It's the first time in my career here we've used 2 backs. Big Carwell Gardner was out in front of me blocking. We were actually able to run a sweep, a play that you can't run without a fullback and a lead blocker in front of you. He said, I had an absolute ball playing last week.
That was only the 3rd reception of the season for the 244-pound Gardner. Thurman Thomas cuts to the outside. Cuts back again. Nice run by Thurman Thomas. Ray Buchanan hit him on the cutback. It's a gain of 9 for Thurman Thomas.
Carwell Gardner absolutely took his man to the ground. Thurman Thomas will get the stats in the paper tomorrow, but Carwell Gardner set it up. Great block.
Thomas now has carried 8 times for 21 yards. Bills bidding to retake the lead or perhaps tie the game before halftime. 2:49 on the clock. Straight ahead, Thurman Thomas. Hit to the center of the Colt defense, but he'll be close to the first down. Let's see if he picked it up. He will be picking up first down yardage, so the Bills keep their drive going here in the latter stages of the first half. Stay with us at intermission. We'll have the Domino's Pizza NFL Live halftime report. Greg Gumbel, Mike Ditka, Joe Gibbs, all the scores and highlights. A look at taunting in the NFL and an update on Joe Montana's injury. That's all coming up at halftime. The Domino's Pizza halftime report.
Boy, the Kansas City Chiefs have really been struggling here lately. Haven't had much of an offense to speak of.
And the clock will stop for the 2-minute warning. 2 minutes left in the first half from Buffalo, with the Colts leading the Bills 10-7. Marv Levy and the Bills have 2 minutes left to tie or take the lead. 12th play of the Bills drive. Jim Kelly's hit 4 of 5. And that one is picked off. Diving interception made by the Colts. And now they say incomplete. No, now they say incomplete. Jason Belser, they say, did not pick it off. Oh, this will be an interesting replay.
I don't think Jason knows it yet. But he's leaving the field. Jason Belser thinks that he got the interception. Wait till you watch him. He's going to come back and say, excuse me?
He thinks...
I did too. I thought he made the interception.
Yeah. It's ruled incomplete pass. The Bills will retain possession.
Well, he's not putting up much of a fight. Maybe he didn't catch it. And the officials could be right.
Thurman Thomas on the sweep, has a blocker in front. Knocked out of bounds inside the 10-yard line. First and goal Bills. Ray Buchanan prevented the touchdown.
Harbaugh Gardner is just making some incredible blocks in this football game. That time he took Eugene Daniel and drove him all the way out of bounds. Here's the sweep play that we talked about earlier. The play that you cannot run without a lead fullback. The offensive linemen never get there. And watch Gardner just push his man out of bounds.
Kenneth Davis dropped for a loss of a yard back to the 10 by Tony McCoy.
The Bills wanting to do two things with this drive. Obviously score points, hopefully get a touchdown out of it. But they also want to work the clock down. Now a minute 30 to go. They don't want to see the Colts and Jim Harbaugh and Marshall Faulk with the football again at the end of the half.
In fact, Harbaugh was perfect on the last Colts touchdown drive, 7 for 7. Second down run. Just about the same result. Davis falls forward for a couple of yards, wrapped up by Tony Bennett.
Tony Bennett absolutely stuffed John Fina on that play. Had his man in position, held his ground, and forced that play back in.
Timeout Buffalo, hoping to tie or take the lead in the last minute of the half. Back in Buffalo, 16th play of the Bills drive coming up. It's third and goal for the 8. Kelly's pass complete to the 5-yard line to Thomas, but he's thrown back short of the end zone by Buchanan with help from Quentin Coriat. So the Colts defense makes a big play. It's fourth down. This has been an unusual first half, highlighted by long drives. And it looks like the field goal unit has come on for the Buffalo Bills on fourth down.
And Tom, perhaps more importantly, it looks like John Fina has re-injured his knee. He missed so much of it. He's over on the bench. He walked off the field, threw his helmet. John Fina may be done for the day.
Steve Christie has not missed a field goal, as you see. This one is a 23-yard attempt. Up and through. So with 21 seconds left in the half, a Christie field goal has tied the game at 10. John Fina, the Bills offensive tackle, trying to walk off the effects of an apparent re-injury of his knee. Short kick for the Bills, takes a bounce, fumbled around for the Colts. They finally fall on it. Banta was the man that finally corralled it once. It got away from him, and then Humphrey got it for sure.
Fina, not a happy guy. He's struggling with that knee, and now apparently has re-injured it, at least to some degree. He's been throwing stuff around. He hit the poor net over there on the side, and he was working on it, shuffling back and forth and back and forth. And this is a major blow, because if he can no longer go, they have to put Jerry Crafts back at right guard, and Jerry Crafts is a right tackle. Jerry Crafts is not a good tackle.
18 seconds left, and the Colts will just kill the time for the first half. An unusual first half, remarkable for its long drives. The Colts had one of 17 plays. The Bills had one of 16 plays. It's been a first half featuring long drives, and we end it all even. That's the end of the first half, with the Indianapolis Colts and the Buffalo Bills tied 10-10. Now the Colts and the Bills, first half featuring long drives by both teams. Looked like a long afternoon for Indianapolis. A 76-yard easy drive for Buffalo to open the game. But the big feature in that first half, the productive passing attack of the Colts.
Absolutely. This is the best game that I've seen out of Jim Harbaugh in some time. He's getting an opportunity to throw the football. Not only throw it, but throw it on early downs, which is really key.
Let's take a look at our Coors Light halftime stats now, and we will see that passing attack of the Colts, which came in ranked as the worst in the NFL.
Well, the Bills with more passing yards, but you would expect that. Jim Kelly, more renowned as a quarterback, but if the Colts can continue to throw for that kind of a number here in the second half and not have to rely on Marshall Faulk in the running game, they've got a chance to win this thing.
And peeking in the back of our booth, Coach Dick McPherson, formerly of Syracuse and the New England Patriots, now back in Syracuse. Good to see you, Coach, back. opening kickoff taken by Brewer from the 2-yard line, and he bangs out to the 20, where the Colts will take over. Well, it was a first half noted by those long drives. Only one punt in the whole first half of play.
This game should be sponsored by a car company, all those long drives.
Well, you said you'd never seen drives as long as 16 and 17 yards. You saw 2 of them.
Back to back.
Back to back. One put up and answered by the other. Jim Harbaugh, 10 of 12 in that first half. In the touchdown drive of 98 yards, he didn't miss a throw, 7 for 7. Hand off to Marshall Faulk, a little hesitation move, and then he takes it straight ahead before Marcus Patton can catch up with him to make the tackle.
3-yard gain.
Now it looks like the Bills at halftime have gone in and said we need to get some more penetration. They want to get up the field against Marshall Faulk and continue to bounce him outside. That time Darryl Talley took a heavy inside rush against Kerry Cash. They want to start to make some disruptions in the backfield.
2nd and 7 for the Colts. Pitch it to Faulk. Potts gives him a block. And Marshall takes it to about the 28-yard line. Tackled there by Mark Maddox. It'll set up 3rd and about 2 for Indianapolis.
4-yard gain.
I'm talking with Cornelius Bennett yesterday. He said, I'm not so sure that Marshall Faulk can make it through a whole season at this pace, having to, when they rely on him so much just to constantly run the football. We asked Marshall about it. He said, you know, he may be right. Not so sure he's not right.
He didn't seem too concerned, though, and the Marshall is a delight to talk to. I expected this cocky youngster. He is not. He is unconcerned, unworried, pleasant to talk to, and what a runner. Harbaugh chased from the pocket on 3rd down, wings it downfield. Dawkins has it. Shakes one tackler and gets another 6 yards out of it across midfield into Bills territory, where Jerome Henderson finally makes the play. 23 yards, Harbaugh to Dawkins.
3-yard gain.
Well, that's another nice throw by Joe Namath. Jim Harbaugh. Who is this guy, number 12, out here playing today? Absolutely perfectly thrown, well-timed. And Sean Dawkins, who is a little questionable in my mind still as a wide receiver, has made a couple of big catches.
The Bills pass defense without their rookie Jeff Burris, who injured a knee in the first half and is out for the rest of the game. Faulk. You see him change directions right at the line of scrimmage. Still got about 3 yards when it appeared nothing was there. Marcus Patton the tackle.
3-yard gain.
Has all the stopping and starting ability of a Barry Sanders. Well, almost. Barry Sanders,
I don't know if anybody has
is
that.
the best I've ever seen with that. But what a dimension this guy gives. If the hole is not there, he simply stops and is able to re-accelerate so quickly. So it makes him a great back.
Gets time. Down the sideline and almost intercepted. The pass came between his 2 receivers, Turner and Dawkins, and Thomas Smith almost picked it off.
I don't know what Sean Dawkins was doing on that play. His job was to clear it out. They ran an out and up with the slot receiver, and it really looked like Sean Dawkins had just kind of stopped on the play. If the deep man wants to break on that ball, Sean Dawkins would have been 20 yards behind everybody.
Third and long now coming up for Indianapolis. They've converted 4 out of 6. 3 wide receivers, Jackson, Turner, Dawkins. Harbaugh steps up and flips it to Faulk. Marshall Faulk dancing his way forward, cuts to the outside and has the Colt first down. What a move by Marshall Faulk. He undressed a couple of Bill defenders. Darryl Talley finally got him out after a gain of 9.
And that's the second time in this game we have seen a huge 3rd down completion and 1st down on about a 1-yard pass. Jim Harbaugh just steps up. Marshall Faulk checks the protection. And this is almost a handoff. Watch this. Darryl Talley, no chance. The other linebacker, no chance. Brilliant, brilliant play.
Faulk takes a breather. First down, Indianapolis. Quick handoff to Roosevelt. Potts. He bangs it across the 30 down to the 28-yard line. A gain of 9 on first down by the big fullback.
You sit there and you begin to get softened up a little bit by Marshall Faulk. Jim Harbaugh completes some passes on down the field, and then all of a sudden, boom, the big 245-pound fullback with the quick trap up the middle. Great job of play calling so far in this one by Nick Nicolau.
Marshall Faulk back in the game and lining up as a wide receiver to the right of the formation, top of your screen. Potts has a first down and a lot more as he bangs it to the 20 to the 19. Oliver Barnett was holding on for dear life as Potts kept chugging for 10 yards.
Roosevelt Potts really not been given much of a chance to carry the football this year, but you can tell he is a very effective back, especially when he can get headed north and south.
He is only the third leading rusher coming into the game. Even Jim Harbaugh has rushed for more yards than Potts. Here's Marshall Faulk. He's down to the 14-yard line and then thrown back to the center of the Bills defense.
What a surge by this Colts offensive line. I mean, they are taking the Buffalo Bills, one of the better defenses in football, and simply pushing them off the line of scrimmage. Big push there against Jeff Wright. The linebackers are all tied up. Oliver Barnett 5 yards deep. Great job up front.
And the diversity of the play calling has kept that defense off balance all afternoon. Two wide receivers set left, Dawkins and Turner. Split backs, Potts and Faulk. Marshall Faulk, Talley hit him. Managed to fall forward for a yard. Maddox and Patton then put on the finishing touches.
Looked like it had a chance when it started, didn't it?
Yep.
Nice play in the backfield.
Well, this is the 11th play of the drive coming up, and it's what we've come to expect in this one. The sustained drives.
The key has been Ted Marchibroda's ability to convert on third down. This team has done it all afternoon to keep these drives alive. If we see another 1-yard completion to Marshall Faulk,
that goes for 9 or 10. Play action, quick toss, Potts wrestled down, close to the first down by Patton.
Jim Harbaugh has been magnificent today. I mean, simply magnificent. I think they gave him a pretty good spot on the play, too.
Well, it's so close they'll have to measure. They'll call the chains in from the opposite side of the field.
The marker that you see on the other sideline is just a visual marker to help the running backs on the field. The actual chains now coming across.
Ooh, just short. So fourth down. Marchibroda has a chip shot field goal if he wants it to take the lead, or he can go for it on fourth down. And he's going to go for it. Ed Toner, a blocking back, comes into the game. He's there with Roosevelt, Potts. Two big, strong running backs as Corey marshals his defense.
Well, Corey's going to wear out that swizzle stick.
Two tight ends, two big running backs, fourth and a foot. Marshall Faulk now is in. Marshall Faulk is in at a running back. Harbaugh on the sneak. Remember, he only needed 10 or 12 inches.
They're going to give him the first down. I saw where the official, he started to run up right in a straight line, and then he made a little jog to his right, so it has to be a first down. I mean, how do you mark a play like that? It's just all so subjective. He came running in, though, and he made just a little weave off to his right, so first down.
Well, they originally had first down, as you see. Originally had Potts and Toner out there, and then at the last minute, Faulk came back. So what about all that? Harbaugh just took it himself.
So far, the key to this football game, 2 fourth down pickups by the Indianapolis Colts.
Colts have it first and goal just inside the 9 of the Buffalo Bills in a 10-10 game. Marshall Faulk. Blocking wasn't there, so he stopped and cut up and got about 3 yards. Mike Lodish and Mark Maddox corralling Marshall Faulk.
I really enjoy the instincts of a Marshall Faulk. The play, as you said, simply was not there on the outside. So instead of trying to make something out of it and bouncing it wide, maybe losing a yard, he just stops, lowers his head, and plows ahead. When running backs do that, especially down here in the red zone, really makes your offense work that much better.
2nd and goal. Ball at the 6-yard line. Faulk hit in the backfield, hit again, got away, stopped, and tackled for a loss. Mike Lodish getting the penetration. Cornelius Bennett coming up, and they stopped Marshall Faulk that time for a loss in the play.
A little bit hard to understand exactly why they've gone away from what's worked so well. Cornelius Bennett still on the ground for the Bills. He's having his best season ever. That would be a major, major blow for the Buffalo Bills. See if we can pick up exactly what happened to Cornelius. Good job in the backfield by Marcus Patton making the play. Can't really tell. Bottom of that pile. And you don't like to see this.
So while they tend to the Pro Bowl linebacker, we'll take a break in a 10-10 game. Cris Collinsworth, Rich Stadium in Buffalo. 3rd and goal for the Colts from the 11-yard line. Cornelius Bennett walked off the field. Keith Goganis has replaced him. Goganis goes inside, Patton to an outside backer. Harbaugh with room to run it. Throws it instead, and it's caught for the touchdown. Kerry Cash, the tight end, went downstairs to get it. Harbaugh had room to run, and then he put the ball low where only his man could catch it. It's a Colt touchdown. 16-play drive.
Is it just me, or have you ever seen Jim Harbaugh play like this?
I'll tell you what.
The guy cannot play a better football game than what he is today. Watch him start to scramble. The defense reacts up. He keeps his eyes up the field and throws an absolute strike to Kerry Cash. The great thing about that throw, anytime you're throwing wide down around the end zone, always have to be careful of the interception. They can take it back 99 yards. He threw it low and away so that only his man could catch it. I mean, this is one heck of a performance by Jim Harbaugh.
Biasucci, the extra point attempt. Splits the uprights. So the Colts take the opening kickoff of the 2nd half and again march right down the field. 16 plays to go up 17-10. What a game, Harbaugh. With producer David Michaels, director Larry Cavallina, Tom Hammond, Cris Collinsworth at Rich Stadium, where the crowd of 80,000 silenced by the beautiful Colt drive. It consumed nearly 8.5 minutes to start the 3rd quarter. 79 yards and a Harbaugh touchdown pass. A thing of perfection to Kerry Cash.
I can't help but think back to draft day when there was so much made about the Colts. If you take a look at Jim Harbaugh's numbers, he's right up there, only behind Stan Humphries and Dan Marino. Not too bad ahead of a guy that's not
It's just that
shabby.
His completions, though plentiful, 62%, have not been down the field for much yardage.
Remember all the heat, though, that Bill Tobin took on draft day for not taking Trent Dilfer as their quarterback. Maybe he knew something.
Harbaugh has been superb in this one and has engineered a 17-10 lead. BB deep in the end zone on the Biasucci kickoff will down it for the touchback. So the Bills, after marching down the field to tie the game just before halftime, have to be cold standing on the sideline. Kelly's been warming up. 17-10 Indianapolis. Welcome back to Buffalo. While we were away, Jim Kelly spent that whole time out warming up, doing knee bends, loosening his arm. It's been a long time since he's been on the field. He's had a good game, 11 for 15, 148 yards. Thurman Thomas on first down shows you a little cutback ability of his own. Got away from the first hit, and finally is taken down by Jason Belser. Eugene Daniels stood him up, and they finally got to Thurman Thomas down as he has been forced to watch Marshall Faulk a lot today. Showed us some cutback ability of his own that time. There's a penalty marker down.
Stephen Grant, the outside linebacker, was arguing his case on the sideline.
Number 59, defense, that will be tacked onto the end of the play, and that is also a first down.
Grant called for the face mask. You see what he thinks of the call.
Stephen Grant replaced Devon McDonald in the starting lineup a couple of weeks ago, and boy, did he have a great game last week. 18 tackles in that one.
John Fina is back in the offensive line for the Bills. Kelly's pass incomplete. Intended for Beebe, with Eugene Daniel covering for the Colts.
Eugene Daniel just made a great play on the football. He had a hip flexor a week ago and had to leave the game against the Jets. And he's a very important part of this secondary. Without him in there, they are very young and very inexperienced.
Daniel in his 11th season from LSU, a former 8th-round draft choice all the way back to 1984.
Jim Kelly telling us yesterday he was really hoping that Ashley Ambrose got in the game. They wanted to throw at him.
Ambrose comes in the nickel defense, but has lost his starting job to Damon Watts. Beebe goes to one knee to make the reception. That'll be a gain of 8. Watts covering for the Colts.
It's a good idea by Jim Kelly. They went over and picked on the veteran Eugene Daniel. It didn't work out so well, so they flip it back over. And really, there's no excuse for the Bills throwing anywhere but at Damon Watts.
Watts taking his spot on his 3rd and 3 play. Kelly with time. And he lumbers downfield. He'll go out of bounds with a first down close to the 45-yard line.
Kind of reminds you of Carl Lewis when he takes off, doesn't it?
I'd like to hear that. I bet there's squeaks and clanks. And
Jim doesn't like to run it very much, but when he has to, especially on 3rd down, not afraid to pull it down and take off. Little, there he goes. Stretch it out, big guy.
First down, Buffalo, just short of their own 45. 15 rushes on the season for Jim Kelly. Reed almost went upstairs to get it, just off his fingertips. And there was Ashley Ambrose. Kelly looking right at the former 2nd-round draft choice from Mississippi Valley State.
That was a nice play there. Beautiful break on the ball, and Ashley Ambrose struggled last week. And to be honest, he has been a major disappointment for this football team. He was a 2nd-round pick, but the first pick in the 2nd round, so essentially a 1st-round draft choice. Had some problems with injuries, but has never really lived up to their expectations.
Kelly completes the pass to Billy Brooks. Brooks at midfield was short of the first down, hit immediately by Ray Buchanan.
Billy Brooks just so happy to be a part of this Buffalo organization. He said, you can't imagine what it's like to play for this team.
And the Colts let him go. They could use him, to be honest.
Absolutely. He said Marv Levy is an absolute veteran player's dream. We don't do much in practice. We don't do much in training camp. He just gets you ready for the regular season. Well, according to he told us yesterday, he said, shoot, our guys only have to shower once a week.
Here's another 3rd down play for the Buffalo Bills. Colts show blitz, and here they come. Kelly got away from one man, but the 2nd and 3rd will get him to the turf. There's Tony Bennett right in the middle of things. Jason Belser was the first man to put the pressure on Kelly on a safety blitz. First sack of the game.
That play was all Jim Kelly's fault. As you look at the pressure put on by Tony Bennett and company as they came with the blitz. But Thurman Thomas made a great read. He stepped across, picked up the blitz. The protection was there, and Jim Kelly bailed out too soon.
Only the 2nd punt of the game, both by the Bills. Chris Moore to Brewer, who's deep for the Colts. Sailing, nice kick by Moore. Brewer backs up to his own 12-yard line. Pretty good return, though. Brewer spinning his way to the 30, where the Colts will take over. Tackle made by Marlo Perry on special teams for the Bills. It was a 54-yard punt, a 17-yard return. We'll be right back.
First and 10 for Indianapolis from the 31.
Last place Colts leading the first place Bills. This could throw the AFC East into all sorts of confusion.
Get the Colts right back in it. The Jets are beating up on New England 21-7, so they can move to 4-3. If Miami continues and gets beat by the LA Raiders, they're down 3 right now. Could have a 3-way tie for first place, all at 4-3.
17-10 Colts, 3:55 left in the third. Marshall Faulk on first down, wrestled to the turf after a gain of 3 by Bruce Smith and Darryl Talley. They have pretty much neutralized Bruce Smith for the game, though.
But their game plan was to take Bruce Smith out of this thing. That's one of the few times all day that I've seen a single block on Bruce Smith. That time the unfortunate task left to Randy Dixon. Well, you just have to wonder, were the Buffalo Bills ready for this football game? So far, the Colts have dominated.
Looked like they were on the opening drive, 76 yards, as easy as you please. But it's been the Colts that have been the more impressive team since. Harbaugh again completes a pass. Dawkins wrestled down after a first down catch to the 45-yard line. Mickey Washington spinning him down, but it covers 13 yards.
Sean Dawkins has really put on a show so far in this ball game. That's the way his season has gone. He'll have a great game, make some great catches, disappear the next game, have some problems, dropping balls, whatever. But at least so far in this one, he has really been the difference. 5 catches for 81 yards.
Ball came loose after he was down. Colts retained possession with a first down. Bruce Smith jumped offside. Harbaugh's pass through the hands of Dawkins that time and incomplete. Might have been a free play as Smith came charging across, but Dawkins saw it go right through his hands. There's that inconsistency.
Yeah. And that was a chance. He had a little running room had he made that catch.
Offsides. Number 78 defense. 5 yards. Still first down.
It's one of the problems that Bruce Smith has had throughout his career. He said the key to my pass rush is beating the offensive lineman off the ball. Unfortunately, as part of that, from time to time, he will go before he's allowed.
Well, 5 tackles today as they have essentially neutralized one of the best defensive linemen in the game.
But he has not been in the backfield and working primarily against his former teammate, Will Wolford.
Faulk looking for some room. Bounces, stops, surrounded and taken down. Patton, Bennett, Washington surrounding Marshall Faulk that time with nowhere to go.
Now that's textbook exactly how they want to play against Marshall Faulk. Take away the inside shoulder, bounce him wider, and then allow the defensive pursuit to catch up. See, they got the penetration there. That time Marcus Patton coming on a run blitz to try and force Marshall Faulk outside.
See some of the other scores here in Buffalo. It's 17-10 Colts. Blitz comes from the Bills, and Harbaugh ducks away. Gain of a couple of yards as Marcus Patton came on a blitz, chased Harbaugh from the pocket, and then Jeff Wright made the tackle.
And I think the Buffalo Bills are sick and tired of watching Jim Harbaugh beat them as well. The time they had a chance to do a little extracurricular, get his hands on him. Jim Harbaugh has not made a bad play so far in this ball game. That looked like it was going to be a disaster as well. The blitz got there and Harbaugh able to scramble away.
Harbaugh calling a play on third down. He has his 3 wide receiver formation. Dawkins and Mark Jackson wide to the left. Turner wide right. Harbaugh lofts it downfield. Turner was open, but instead of continuing downfield down the middle, he broke to the inside, and the pass was incomplete. He had a touchdown.
I have to put that one on Floyd Turner. Jim Harbaugh read it correctly. I'm not sure that Turner realized that because of the blitz, there was not a free safety in the field. He continued his break straight across the field instead of turning it up. And Ted Marchibrodo trying to calm down his quarterback, saying, big guy, you're making a great one. Don't lose it now.
Russell Copeland awaiting the first punt by the Colts. Ron Stark. Burris normally returns punts. He's injured out for the game. Copeland calls for a fair catch and makes it at the 12-yard line. So the first punt of the day by the Indianapolis Colts brings us to the 49-second mark. 36-yard boot. Colts lead 17-10.
Harbaugh had a big chance, but when Floyd Turner broke across the field instead of up the field, you see all the room with no safety. Just simply overthrown.
Bills take over down 7. Thurman Thomas, first down. Back to the line of scrimmage. Tony Saragusa wrapped all over him, and Tony McCoy as well. Plugging up the center of that defensive line for the Colts as we tick down the final seconds of the third quarter.
Remember, this is a Buffalo offense that rushed for over 200 yards a week ago against the Miami Dolphins. They really thought they had something going with the running game, but so far the Colts have stuffed them.
Kelly's pass is complete. Nice catch by Metzelaars in traffic. Jeff Parrott was all over him. He managed to hold on to the football short of the first down by a couple of yards.
Metzelaars is one of the more courageous players in this league. He's playing this game with a broken tip on his thumb. That was a nice catch.
That's the end of the third quarter. We'll be back after these messages from your local station. Sellout crowd at Rich Stadium in disbelief as the first place Bills trail the last place Colts 17-10 as we start the fourth quarter. Thurman Thomas nearly broke free across the 25 to the 26. Stopped by Tony McCoy.
4-yard gain. First down.
Boy, other than that first drive, Jim Kelly really has not been able to work the ball down the field much at all. Almost all of his completions have been coming underneath. Things looked like they were just going to fall in place for the Buffalo Bills on that opening series as they took it down and took a 7-0 lead. But since then, this Colts defense has been awfully tough.
Kelly's 14 of 20, 167 yards in the game. Thomas, blockers in front. Thurman breaks to the outside, nearly got free again. Jason Belzer made a saving tackle. Some games going on that will impact this AFC East race. Let's check in NFL Live and Greg Gumbel. Greg?
All right, Tom, in Pittsburgh, the Bengals on the board with a little trickery on the field goal attempt. No field goal attempt. Holder Lee Johnson pitches to Jeff Cothran, 7 yards and a touchdown. The Bengals cut Pittsburgh's lead in half. It's 14-7 in the third.
All right, Gary, that game will not impact the AFC East, but the Bengals trying anything they can to get something going with some trickery. Harbaugh Gardner, short yardage gain for the Buffalo Bills.
And now the Bills trying to reestablish this running game. The running game that dominated the Miami Dolphins, and they're trying to get back into it. Unfortunately, the other thing that it does, it really begins to wear out this clock.
2 eligible.
Mike Devlin reporting as an eligible receiver. Kelly comes to the sideline. Perhaps his radio transmitter is not working. They call the plays to the helmet. The Bills facing a 3rd and 3. They've converted 7 of 10 third downs in the game. Gardner thrown back for the defense. Big play by Freddie Joe Nunn in the defensive line of the Colts. Tony McCoy got a piece as well.
Fourth down.
So 4th down, and Buffalo will have to punt.
The Colts are physically manhandling the Buffalo Bills on both sides of the ball. I would have never believed what I'm seeing out of this ball game.
Brewer awaiting the Chris Moore boot. Nearly blocked. Flag down. Roughing the kicker will give the Bills a first down. No, holding against Buffalo. Wow.
That would have been the worst roughing the kicker call in the history of football if that would have been called. I was getting ready to go off.
Holding. Number 24 in the kicking team. That penalty is declined. We'll take the result of the play. First down, Indianapolis. Timeout.
That's because the result of the play was only a 28-yard punt. Colts in good shape, leading by 7. Could turn for the Indianapolis Colts if they can pull off this upset as double-digit underdogs here at Buffalo. Marshall Faulk ducking in, ducking out, gets around the corner to midfield, and a first down for Marshall Faulk. Mickey Washington forced him out. Well, if they can survive the fourth quarter, the Colts will have a rare thing indeed. 66-3, they've been outscored. Maybe this is why.
And Colts fans have to be absolutely thrilled to see Marshall Faulk touch the ball in the fourth quarter. He just simply has not seen it enough.
He saw it that time for a gain of 11. Colts have a first down at midfield. Harbaugh changing the play. Handoff, Faulk dances the other way. Into Bills territory, close to the 45, corralled by Jeff Wright and Keith Goganis.
4 yards gain.
And you can see the offensive linemen up there. They're sort of turning around and trying to find Marshall even after the play's over with. All the blocking was off to the left side, and they were pushing and making their blocks and shoving their guys in a particular direction. Then they sort of whipped their head around and said, all right, now where is he now?
AFC's leading rusher has gained 69 yards today. Harbaugh with protection. Dumps it off to Potts. Roosevelt Potts. Finally driven back. Marcus Patton, Henry Jones stopping the big fullback. The safety valve receiver for Jim Harbaugh.
You haven't seen Bruce Smith giving Jim Harbaugh any problems, and usually when you can block a guy with 3, you have a chance to keep him out.
And made sure they all got a piece of him, too. You see Bruce still shaking his head. Jim Harbaugh now has hit 16 of his 20 pass attempts today. 3 wides on 3rd and 3. Blitz. He got it complete. Turner wrestled down after a first down catch to the 34-yard line. Wrestled down by Matt Darby at that point. And Harbaugh, standing tall in the pocket, delivered it for 9 yards.
Showing great courage, but also the offensive line doing a nice job, giving him just enough time. That's the same play, Tom, that they missed earlier in the game on the blitz read. They ran the slant that time. Harbaugh changed what he did and just dumped it off to Floyd Turner. What a day by Jim Harbaugh.
This is Potts. Got a yard.
Potts carried. Bruce Smith made
The game really on the line now for this Buffalo Bills defense. If they allow the Colts to go in and score another touchdown or even pick up a field goal, and obviously they're in field goal range now, 10 points with 9:27 to go makes it awfully tough, especially the way this Colt defense has been playing.
What ball control by the Colts today. Their first drive of the second half consumed 8.5 minutes.
Flawless execution so far.
Harbaugh again has time. Scrambles and throws it downfield, complete to Dawkins inside the 10-yard line. Darby hit him hard, and Dawkins held on to the football. Harbaugh again down in the teeth of the rush, managed to hit for 24 yards.
I don't think that Sean Dawkins had any idea that Matt Darby was behind him. And that is a blow that I can tell you as a former wide receiver, when you're not expecting it in the slightest, you think you've been killed. Little scramble. He's battling with the defensive back, Thomas Smith, then sneaks in behind him. Smith falls down, and he had no idea that shot was coming. Huge lick by Matt Darby.
And Dawkins shaken up. You know, We've talked about this game may be the arrival of Jim Harbaugh. It may also signal the arrival of Sean Dawkins, who has 6 catches, 105 yards.
Tom, I think they sort of go hand in hand, if you know what I mean, because by Dawkins playing so well, that's allowed Harbaugh to play better.
While they tend to the injuries, we'll take a break. Welcome back to Buffalo, where 2 of the major players in this game for the Colts, Sean Dawkins and Jim Harbaugh, are out with injuries. Harbaugh injured his right hand, right wrist, and he's replaced by Don Majkowski at quarterback. Pitch to Falk, can't get around the corner. Coming up quick to make the tackle was Marcus Patton.
Flag on the play.
There is a flag down.
Harbaugh was chased by Cornelius Bennett, scrambles around, makes the huge play to Sean Dawkins, but watch Bruce Smith. At the end of the play, runs right into his right wrist. Harbaugh went over to the sideline during the timeout, tried to make a couple of throws, could not, and now Don Majkowski has to take over. We were in Indianapolis a couple of weeks ago, and there were some...
Number 80, offense, 10 yards, still first down.
And Aaron Bailey, who has replaced Dawkins at wide receiver, is called for the hold. Dawkins over on the bench.
There were some rumors going around that Bob Irsay, the owner of this team, actually wanted the coaching staff to replace Jim Harbaugh with Don Majkowski. Well, at least he may be getting his wish, but I'm sure after the performance of Harbaugh today, he wants number 12 back in there.
Isn't it ironic? In his best game as a Colt, Harbaugh knocked out. Majkowski for the end zone. Turner has it for the touchdown. Second touchdown catch of the day for Floyd Turner, as Don Majkowski, who had attempted only 1 pass prior to today, hits for his first touchdown of the season for 19 yards.
How about them apples? Don Majkowski comes in. What a move there by Floyd Turner. Just simply took Thomas Smith, threw his hands off of him, wide open. And Don Majkowski, that's the reason you have those veteran players as backup quarterbacks. Remember the year that he had in 1989. Threw for over 4,000 yards, 27 touchdowns on that year. He was sensational. Never got back to that form, but he's very comfortable in these pressure situations.
Biasucci will attempt the point after. And he got it.
Good.
Another impressive long drive by the Colts. Don Majkowski out of the bullpen pitches a strike. And the Colts add to their lead. How sweet for the golden-haired Don Majkowski, who went to high school about 10 miles from Rich Stadium, Depew High School. He comes in and in his first pass hits Floyd Turner for a touchdown, and the Colts lead by 14.
Just to update you as well, the Raiders now up on Miami 17-10. We may well have a 3-way tie for first place in the Eastern Division.
Biasucci's kick, a short one this time, taken by Beebe. Fumbles the ball, and the Colts pick it up. Indianapolis has recovered the Beebe fumble. That will not be a touchdown. The ball will be ruled down. But Ed Toner, it's almost like it had a magnet into his arms. It bounced right into Toner's hands. He got up and scrambled toward the end zone. No score. Well, they're huddling where the officials are, where the ball was recovered, but they said down. It will be Indianapolis football, though.
Player is ruled down by contact. Therefore, there's no return. First down, Indianapolis.
Tony Siragusa with the belly bop with Toner after the play. I explained this. Oh, his own man hit him. Own man knocked the ball out, and that was Russell Copeland.
And this is the first turnover of the game.
Came right in behind him. Beebe had no idea it was there and literally just stripped the ball away from Don Beebe. Put this one in the archives for the Indianapolis Colts and for Ted Marchibroda. They simply cannot play a better football game.
Get this. The worst passing attack in the league, 19 of 23, 225 yards, 3 touchdowns.
Marshall Falk carries.
Marshall Falk with the carry. And for the Buffalo Bills, a continuation of a disturbing trend. They seem not to be able to win the games they should win. Lost to the Jets, lost to the Bears. Able to beat the Dolphins and some of the teams that they seem to get up for, but caught emotionally flat more than once this season.
I guess, Tom, and Jim Harbaugh there with the ice bag on, trying to get himself back in. I'm surprised they haven't sent him in for x-rays yet, just to make sure this game is fairly well under control now.
Play clock. Number 1. Roosevelt Potts. Well, with the Colts about to spring the upset here, let's go to NFL Live. Greg Gumbel for an update.
All right, Tom, in Miami, a little quarterback controversy at the end of the first half. Jeff Hostetler was yanked, but on the first drive of the second half, he's back in and leads the Raiders downfield. 4 of 5, 60 yards, including the 8-yarder to Tim Brown, 17-10. Raiders lead it in the third. Tom?
All right, Greg, a wild afternoon in the AFC East. The Indianapolis Colts about to turn things upside down. Sean Dawkins has returned to the lineup, and Mikowski completes the pass to Kerry Cash. A stumbling reception by Cash in front of Matt Darby, and there's Sean Dawkins, who has returned. He has 6 catches over 100 yards today. Jim Harbaugh continues to nurse that wrist, and he has the ice now taped onto his wrist. And like you, I'm surprised they haven't already taken him to the portable x-ray equipment under the stadium.
You know, we've been talking about a letdown by the Buffalo Bills today, but I'm not so sure it wasn't just the Colts playing super football game.
Can't flog their performance. 24-10, Indianapolis.
Marv Levy told us yesterday that you have to earn your victories in this league, and the difference between playing at 100% and 98% much more than just 2%. So far, that's exactly what's happened to this football team. A little letdown by them and a huge day by the Colts.
34-yard field goal attempt by Dean Biasucci of the Colts to put them up 17. And it's good.
It's good.
So the Indianapolis Colts looking like a Super Bowl team today. The league's worst passing attack, completing at 83%. They're up on Levy's Bills 27-10. Pretty astounding game here at Rich Stadium today. The Colts dominating the defending AFC champs. This is not a chopped liver team that they have just completely dominated, and could be a turnaround game for the Colts. You know, they've had a lot of bad luck, some disappointments, but this could be it.
Absolutely, and this game puts them only 1 game out of first place. They've got a lot of talent. If Jim Harbaugh can come back, continue to play the way that he's playing, and with Marshall Faulk, you always have a weapon. But really, the defense has been the story. After that first drive, they have completely shut down the Buffalo Bills.
Big question mark, of course, will be the injured wrist of Jim Harbaugh. And what a blow to him as he has his best game, and then late in the contest, and he's taken that ice bag off his wrist and is warming it up. When you're hot, you don't ever want to come out, do you?
He would be on the team bus right now for me. I'd have him in there with the ice on that wrist and getting him to do a little flashback memory. Just keep this up in your mind. Whatever you did before this game, whatever you ate before this game, whatever kind of underwear you wore today, wear the same thing for the rest of the season.
There's the day Jim Kelly has had. His passing left, center, and right by distance.
Everything underneath, though. After that first drive, no success down the field.
Well, a last-ditch attempt by Kelly and company. They're in their no-huddle K-gun formation. Across the middle to Andre Reed. To midfield. Coryat made the tackle, but a gain of 26 yards. 6 minutes left.
Now they're into the hyper hurry-up offense.
Brooks. Gain of 9 or 10. Ashley Ambrose put him out of bounds.
Well, if you have any doubt in your mind about the comeback ability of Jim Kelly and the Buffalo Bills, just harken back a couple of years to that Houston playoff game. What was that, 35-3 at the half, something like that?
That was Frank Reich, of course.
Right.
But They were down 32 to Houston in the third quarter before they came back to win. Russell Copeland.
Colts defensively don't want to get too casual now. They've really had things their own way, playing aggressively. Bills have also done a nice job on Tony Bennett today. Hasn't been nearly the factor he's been in the past.
Harbaugh showed blitz, then backed out of it. They still get pressure on Kelly, and he's hit from behind and taken down. Tony McCoy in the center of the defensive line for the Colts broke free to put the pressure on Kelly.
No one open down the field, and Jim Kelly knows better than this. You can't hold the football that long in the pocket, especially when a guy's already gone by you. You know there's some heat coming from behind you. Just take it and dump it away.
Second sack for the Colts today. Kelly's protection again breaks down. He manages to get the ball away, but it's beyond the reach of Andre Reed and incomplete.
Wow, there was no one left on that side of the field. Damon Watts with the coverage, and had this ball been completed, it would have been a stroll into the end zone. Everyone from the outside had moved inside the hash mark, and that was a play that was almost 6.
4:48. Wide open, Metzelars cuts back. He has a first down. He's to the 16-yard line. Wrestled down by Eugene Daniel and by Jeff Farad. Gain of 21 and a first down, Buffalo.
I'm telling you, stranger things have happened in this league. I played in a game one time. We had the lead, 15-point lead about 3 minutes to go, and lost that one. So, especially when you've got an offense like this.
Kelly scrambles, dumps it complete. Thomas stopped at the 1-yard line. Jason Belcher prevented the touchdown. Well, a play that Harbaugh used effectively to Falk for the Colts. Kelly to Thomas for the Bills.
It's such a frustrating play for a defense when they're playing a zone. You drop back, you're in your linebacker drops, and then all of a sudden nobody blitzes, and the guy just releases. Thurman Thomas almost gets it in. But every time the Colts can keep them out of the end zone, one more play, just let that clock continue to run, works to their favor.
And the Bills use their second timeout. It comes with 4:01 left, and Buffalo at the 2-yard line of Indianapolis, 1st and goal.
So that was a big tackle right there on the goal line, forcing Buffalo to burn one of their timeouts.
Well, while we have a timeout, we'll remind you that NFL action resumes here on NBC next week. It all starts at 12:30 Eastern Time with NFL Live. And then a complete lineup of games coming your way here on NBC.
There's Vince Tobin, the defensive coordinator. His groups have done such a magnificent job.
NFL Live next Sunday, 12:30 p.m. Eastern Time. Gumbel, Ditka, and company. And then early games, Pittsburgh and the Giants, 4 o'clock, Denver and San Diego. Those are the games you'll see next weekend here on NBC. Marv Levy and the Bills trying for an almost miraculous rally. Down 27-10. Kelly's pass batted down. Tony Siragusa with a big paw up to bat it to the turf.
Some may wonder why the pass here. Obviously, with under 4 minutes to play in this game and needing 17 points, they don't want to take any time off the clock. If you run the football and don't make it, just continues to eat away at that clock. So the Bills probably will stay with passes until they get it in, or they don't.
Well, he's got 3 more chances. Kelly's pass thrown out of the end zone. He had Copeland breaking free at the back of the end zone, but Kelly, feeling the rush, just threw it away.
Russell Copeland was there, but I'm not sure that Jim Kelly ever saw him. You could tell by the trajectory of the pass. He was just dumping it away. Quentin Coriat really between Copeland and Jim Kelly.
And Thomas Sims bearing down on Kelly. So it's 3rd and goal from the 2. Kelly scrambles. He can run it in. And he throws it complete to Thomas for the touchdown.
Nice job improvising this time by Jim Kelly. He was looking left, had to come back to a 2nd and a 3rd receiver. And boy, it's nice to have a veteran player like Thurman Thomas. When you get to that point of play, all bets are off. You just start scrambling, trying to find a hole in the defense. That time, Thurman Thomas able to get the job done.
And there's an injured Colt, as you saw. Thurman Thomas with the touchdown catch, his 2nd receiving touchdown of the season.
His knee almost 100% now. He's had to miss the 1 ball game and can't get a number on the Colts player that's down.
Thomas will be denied his 5th 100-yard rushing game. And we still have been unable to identify the injured Colts.
It's interesting, Tom, that the Bills came out with a wide open attack on the first drive of the game, come back to it here, but in between they really got away from it. Didn't really try too many passes down the field.
.346 remaining in the game. What about the Buffalo strategy here? Kick it away or onside?
Have to have it twice. I think you're almost forced into an onside kick here, especially given the fact that you burned 1 of your timeouts. They only have burned 2 of their timeouts. Only 1 timeout remaining. Terry McCoy, the injured player, played a big ball game today.
Coming up tonight, an NBC family double feature. Jim Belushi stars in the network television premiere, the comedy Curly Sue. Then the only place you'll find football on television tonight, the network premiere of the gridiron comedy Necessary Roughness. All coming up tonight, 7 o'clock, 6 o'clock Central Time, here on NBC. Curly Sue and Necessary Roughness.
And now the Jets lead by just a touchdown over New England. Former Jet Blair Thomas with the 4-yard touchdown run.
Christie for the extra point attempt to pull the Bills within 10. It didn't look very good, but it got through, and that's what counts. 3:46 left in the game. It's now 27-17. Colts trying to regroup a bit after Buffalo drives down the field to score a touchdown. They don't want to let this one get away from them. And the Don Beebe fumble of the kickoff, which resulted in the field goal for Indianapolis, the only turnover of the game, looks pretty big right now.
Yes, it does. Now with have to have 2 scores. The hands team, as they call it, for the Indianapolis Colts, getting ready. They'll distribute all their wide receivers and running backs and players that are used to handling the football in preparation for the onside kick. This was always my least favorite team. Oh.
So you want to get it has to go 10 yards, and you want to get it to take a big hop in the air and have your men run under it with a chance to recover.
On AstroTurf, the ball will bounce twice and then skip up in the air, and that's when you have the chance for the recovery.
There's the big hop. Jump ball. And the Colts have it. Buchanan was the man that latched on to it for the Indianapolis Colts. Don't tell what's going on in that pileup for the football now, but Buchanan looked like he caught it cleanly.
Picture yourself on the receiving end of this thing, knowing you're about to get wiped out. I harken back to a few the flips I've done on that team. and the Colts keep the football.
So Indianapolis will have the football, and the clock showing 3 minutes and 40 seconds.
Tom, you know what the hardest part of that team is once you recover the ball, trying to hold it at the bottom of the pile, because then everybody's down there ripping and tearing, and guys much stronger than the wide receivers who usually catch the ball.
And you're in a vulnerable spot because you've jumped into the air to receive it. You can see Buchanan that time hit about 3 different times on his way down.
Oh, it is the worst. Nice gutsy catch and hanging on to the ball, though, by Buchanan.
Buffalo Bills have only 1 timeout left. 3 minutes, 40 seconds, and Indianapolis ahead by 10. Don Majkowski is the quarterback after Harbaugh, having his best day, was injured. Falk chased and caught by Henry Jones.
Henry Jones made the stop. Watch the score.
And timeout Buffalo. That's their final timeout.
14.
Stops the clock at 3:31. Still have the timeout remaining for the 2-minute warning, so 2 more running plays by the Colts should take it down right at that 2-minute warning, and they'll get the ball back. Never know, a little 2-minute drill, onside kick, still a possibility. One of the really exciting players to come into the league, though, right there, Marshall Faulk. Do so many different things with that football. You alluded to it earlier. He's going to be a great treasure for the fans back in Indianapolis. A very personable guy, carrying a book around yesterday, doing a little reading.
Grew up in the Desire Housing Project of New Orleans, one of the toughest spots in the Crescent City. He said to us once, guys like you talking to us assume you're going to go to college, assume that your life is planned out. He said, down in the project, you live day to day. And he was a handful at times, some disciplinary problems, but athletics was his vehicle to better things. That and his mom, the constant support and discipline of his mom. Sometimes he thought she was too hard on him. Now he realizes what she was up to. And every time he scores a touchdown, he sends the football home to mom. Falk tackled by Darryl Talley.
The interesting thing that I got out of that Marshall Faulk conversation was that he said, yeah, my mom used to whip me, no doubt about it. He said the problem that my friends had is their mom didn't do that for them. In other words, not to them, for them. I mean, he really looked at the discipline as something that made a difference in his life.
And he's a delight to talk to. I repeat that I don't know what I expected. I guess a cocky guy because he has the stats, the glitzy numbers, the big contract, the fame and fortune. But you can just sit down and talk to this guy for half an hour, 40 minutes, and just enjoy it immensely. He probably didn't enjoy that play too much. The draw play has been figured out by the Bills defense, Bruce Smith in particular.
And the Colts are going to have to kick this ball before the 2-minute warning, so the clock will stop at the 2-minute warning after the punt. About a 2-second differential between the clock and the play clock. Probably just let it run down, take the 5-yard penalty, and take their time and get the kick away. Kickers actually like to be back further when they're trying to angle a ball out of bounds. I think it gives them a little easier not have to turn so far to the left or right to kick it.
So the delay of game penalty sets the Colts back 5 yards further at the 2:01 mark.
Penalty makes it 4th and 20.
And Ted Marchibroda would have his 16th victory as the Colts coach, which means another year on his contract. That would end some of the speculation that's been traveling around National Football League circles.
There was an article written here in Buffalo yesterday that he was on the hot seat, and he just sort of looked at it and discarded the paper and said, well, that's a Buffalo writer.
Copeland, the deep man for the Bills. Starks, left-footed boot, angles to Copeland at the 9. taken down at the 20-yard line with 1:51 left. Ed Toner on special teams for the Colts. Timeout for the 2-minute warning and a last-gasp Buffalo effort. Colts up 10, 1:51 left. Buffalo at its own 20-yard line. Jim Kelly's had a big day. 20 of 29, 250 yards, a touchdown. Heaves it down the sideline to Brooks. Out of bounds after a gain of 9.5. It looks like. See the Dolphins and the Raiders now tied with Byers. A pass from Marino.
The problem the Bills have had today is running the football. 79 yards rushing today, over 200 last week against Miami.
Thurman Thomas had 125 by himself last week. Thomas makes that catch, and the Bills have a first down at the 38.
Have to do it a little more quickly. You have to move the football down the field.
First and 10 from the 38.
Tony Bennett taking his time.
Bills out of timeouts. Strokes it to Reed. It has it. Again, a short gain, though. They're just meandering down the field, as it were, instead of trying for the big strike.
A couple of harumps out of the crowd after that short completion.
Now Kelly was winding up to send it deep, and Tony Bennett collapsed into the ground. Third sack of the day for the Colt defense.
Tony may have hurt himself on the sack. Jim Kelly's ribs must be harder than they used to be. And the clock continued to run, so the referees are going to have to reset it. In the last 2 minutes, this will be a charge timeout to the Colts, and can't really tell exactly what happened to Tony.
You can see Kelly with that big windup was going to send it down to the end zone. And he took just a half a second too long.
Well, they had done a pretty good job on Tony Bennett all day today, but finally, as they drive down to try and get back in the ball game, he was able to pick up the 7th sack of the season. I just cannot understand how the Green Bay Packers let him get out of that organization. They tried to pay him $400,000 and $500,000 in a 2-year contract extension. He came to the Colts and signed for $2 million. It just absolutely, and then they turned around and paid Sean Jones all that money to come in as a free agent. And I guarantee you Tony Bennett's going to be a better player long term than will be Sean Jones.
He met Marchavota's angry, wanting some clockage. Tony Bennett met Tony Bennett in Indianapolis last week. He had met him once before in Green Bay. The singer meeting the football player. And with 2 sacks today, 7 for the season, he ties Bruce Smith for the AFC lead.
Said Marchavoda not understanding why they had to put the time back on the clock. But they did let a few seconds tick off before they stopped the clock.
You rarely see Ted Marchavoda get too excited. Pretty mild-mannered man, a pleasure to talk to. Folks in the Buffalo area know all about him in his days here. Don't forget, coming up next, the second half of our doubleheader here on NBC. Oh, no, excuse me, the Skills Challenge is next. Sort of a golf football doubleheader today. Skills Challenge is next.
I'd like to be in a skills challenge against Chi-Chi. I don't think so.
He, in fact, a total of 8 of golf's top players in all the aspects of golf. Dump it off to Thurman Thomas. Nice open field tackle made by the rookie Damon Watts. He seems to play his best in the last minute of the game.
It's time to throw it in the end zone, though. I mean, there is no more time for these little dump-off passes. It's not just one score you have to have 2.
Sideline pattern. Out of bounds is Copeland.
Well, this is good for Jim Kelly's stats, but it doesn't do much if you're trying to win a football game.
34 seconds left.
4th and 10.
So instead of throwing 1 alley-oop or 2 alley-oops, you're going to throw 1.
It's 4th and 10. Kelly's in trouble. Caught for the ankle. Loses the football. And the Colts recover. Didn't matter. It was 4th down anyway.
Recovered by Indianapolis. 1st and 10 for the Colts.
There's Steve Entman
43.
in the middle of things. Devon McDonald is the man that wrapped up the ankle of Jim Kelly. And Entman recovered the fumble.
So now, once again, the Colts defense has made a play when they had to make one. Steve Entman's going to chase it down from behind and then finally out-wrestle Jim Kelly for the football. That's one where you put your odds on Steve Entman.
I don't believe anybody could have gotten that ball away from him. And I also don't think I've heard 80,000 people so quiet. It's a stream for the exits here at Rich Stadium.
The Jim Harbaugh show today. Absolutely brilliant. Also a tip of the hat to Sean Dawkins and to Vince Tobin and his defensive unit. They were superb throughout the afternoon. A lot of people question whether or not Vince Tobin should be the coordinator, sort of forced on Ted Marchibroda by Bill Tobin, his general manager. But things have worked out well, and this Colts defense now is playing much, much better.
Well, it could have been a bittersweet performance by Jim Harbaugh, his best as a Colt, which ended with an injury to his right wrist. He wasn't able to return to the game.